Alrighty. So last time we had a bit of a problem because I didn't have the comments. I didn't have the comments. I missed out on all this great chat. But that won't happen this time because fail early, fail often. Okay, let's get the show on the road, hey? All right. So there's oh, I got someone in the chat already. Good stuff. Okay, so there's been a fair bit happening in the last, I don't know, 6 hours. Um, Definitely a massive escalation in events compared to when we were here last time, which is it's pretty exciting. We're gonna add another info stream to this channel as well now. So we've got TweetDeck up and running here. Um, if no one's ever used TweetDeck before, it's an awesome tool where you can just kind of plug in heaps of different hashtags, different users, and you can kind of see, you can kind of get a bit of a holistic perspective on what's happening. So I woke up this morning and woke up just to some carnage, man. So what have we got going on here? The first channel I woke up and had a look at was um, Bella Macta. And basically, the long story short on the situation is that Russia's kind of gone fully balls to the wall here, and they've started a series of massive troop movements into Ukraine. And the reason this is interesting is because um, it's kind of started to go beyond the the initial chat, even up to a week ago, which was that most of this would be happening um, in Donbass and the Luhansk regions, and instead there's multiple reports coming in of troops coming in through Crimea, coming in through um, some of the northern provinces, even down in towards Kiev. So we're going to have a bit of a look at what some of the info is saying about this, and basically we'll try and figure out what's going on. So, place to start. We'll kind of do a similar roadmap to what we did last time, where we had a bit of a look and see what the mainstream media's got to say, and then we'll have a look and see how that differs to what kind of info is coming out on places like Twitter, and then we'll have a look at what's coming out on Telegram as well. So what have we got going on here? Okay, so the maps will kind of give us a bit of a roadmap. What have we got here on the mainstream news? All right, so we've got, like I said last time, because my VPN runs through Australia, we're getting kind of a mostly pretty Western Anglo perspective on this. I'm sure if I logged in from somewhere in Eastern Europe, it would probably be a bit different, but this is obviously English language is easier. So we've got live updates, crisis live news, international outcry, other cities attacked by missile strikes as Putin orders special military operation, live coverage. So the thing that's really interesting about this actually is there was there's a I don't know if anyone's ever spent time watching old broadcast footage from the first Gulf War, but I feel like every time now there's a conflict that kicks off, it's literally the exact same kind of dynamic, right? So um, CNN were classic for it. Some good chat here from Salt of Sea Dog. So this is the Gulf War coverage, right? There's heaps of bloopers, um, but the dynamic that's interesting is just like this kind of 24-hour live streamed type dynamic, like you can see here. Um, the best part about the CNN footage from the Gulf War is that it didn't actually really show very much of what was happening initially. Like this was going 24 hours a day, and you literally just had talking heads and pundits showing the same kind of video footage and content, and then just a compilation of maps. I'm just going to skip through this stream, and this is literally it. So it's talking heads talking about like what this means for the state of kind of Western society, what's going to happen, blah blah blah. And let's see what's going on here with the ABC. Let's see if it's any different this time. So this kind of has that similar dynamic I was talking to that the Guardian has, where they've got like this kind of live ticker update happening. We'll have a look at that in a sec. Um, so this is kind of interesting actually. So these mainstream sources actually have like a fair bit of on the ground stuff, and I think they've learned their lesson from um, yeah, here we go. I think they've learned their lesson from previous conflicts where it was people kind of got sick of just this curated news source, and there's been a significant paradigm shift into people seeking out like raw data and info that's on the ground. So you've got this thing happening where these news sources, like these kind of legacy media sources, are basically reposting photos that they're finding mostly on Twitter. It's hard to say whether these people are on Telegram too much. Um, so they're kind of it's interdispersed stuff. So I've seen footage of this on Telegram this morning. This comes in 59 minutes ago. It's interesting. The video I saw that was posted here on Telegram was, man, that would have been like at least 3 or 4 hours ago that came from. So the latency and the lag between stuff kind of coming up like as a raw data feed and being posted to these legacy channels, like the delay is quite high. And that's like a function of the paradigm, right? Um, I wonder if there's any good videos. Let's have a look and see if. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is all stuff that we've seen on Telegram so far this morning. Um, okay, so if we're going to talk about framing, last time we kind of spoke about framing a little bit, so we may as well have a bit of a further dive into what's happening in a framing perspective at the moment. This is very similar to the frame that came up last time. It's like a kind of a classic weaponized empathy frame where the mainstream narrative, it seems to be almost across the board from what I've been looking at this morning, is that this is going to be a bloodbath for Ukrainian people, and it's going to tear families apart and all the rest. Um, okay, I just got some intel that's just come in that says Russian soldiers could be landing outside Kiev. Far out, man, and that's come straight from 4chan. So let's have a let's have a bit of a look and see. This is going to be. I feel like there's just going to be so much happening in this stream that we're just going to be flicking all over the place. Hey, but that's okay because in the modern media environment, this is what we're looking for. There's something that's a kind of a construct of legacy media is that there's like a consistent narrative, and there's a like the story has a start, middle, and an end, and it has a good guy and a bad guy. But that's not the case these days. So there's heaps of stuff happening here. Let's see if I can find the thread that just got shared. Here we go. So we've got this info happening here. So Russian soldiers landing outside Kiev. There's a WebM attached. Holy shit, man! Is this legit? What the hell? What? You're kidding. Far out, yeah. So Perun 9000 said it's happening. Yeah, it's definitely happening, man. This is absolutely insane, man. This is some of the most wild footage I've seen yet today. Hey, what? Oh my God. So, um, there's obviously being 4chan, there's going to be a fair bit of interest, like kind of um, just a mess of stuff happening here. So we've got a bit of humor. Um, I'm trying to find some confirmation of where this is and what's actually happening here. Okay, so in the chat, it's next to, so we've got Perun 9000 saying it's next to Kharkov, so this is why we got Google Maps up, right? Um, so I had a bit of trouble yesterday. It made me look like a massive rookie. Um, the thing is, like, I write words in English, and the location place doesn't necessarily find it in Russian. So we'll KHAR. Let's see if this comes up right. Okay, I think this is. Yep. Okay, that's where I thought it was going to be. Sweet. Um, so it's a whole VDV brigade. Personally, don't know exactly what that means, so let's Google it. Okay, so VDV obviously is Russian for kind of the airborne forces. This is hectic, man. So this is some this is some high intensity stuff. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that thread. So there seems to be on this thread at the moment. There seems to be mostly just a heap of commentary. You can always tell, like, because there's so much info to sort through, right? My kind of go-to, which is could be lazy, maybe not, but my go-to way of figuring out what's actually happening here is to look for the um the replies in here that have like the comments that have like a big string of replies, because then you can tell that's obviously kind of stimulated a fair bit of interest in the community that are following. Okay, so yeah, the elite Russian paratroopers, good stuff. Um, yeah, okay. So that's mostly just a bit of commentary, but no actual kind of diving into it. So this is fascinating. Let's watch this again, man. This is absolutely wild. That is crazy scenes, man. I wonder if that has. So first thing we did was have a look and see if that made it onto the. So we're having a bit of a look at mainstream news. Let's see if um, if let's see if anything's popped up. Okay, so we've got. Okay, so we've got something. We've got something. I have no idea what source this is. Let's have a look. So we've got some Indian. Okay, so what we've got so far, absolutely nothing from any of the kind of major legacy channels. Okay, so they usually drop with all their equipment. Epic. Let's have a look at this. Um, oh man. Okay. Okay, hectic. Okay, so these guys have landed here, which is what seems to be the chat. We've got, yeah, this is fascinating. Okay, so like we were saying earlier, we've got like this. So these are the two provinces down here that were initially kind of suspect for a bit of conflict. So now there's a mass extension beyond that. Odessa seaport was hit this morning, as well, or the port there. And there's also been reports, which I want to get into in a second, of info that there's been Russian troops kind of coming down from Belarus towards the northern part of Kiev. Oh, so Soul of Sea Dog says that there's a second wave of missiles launched. If you got any, yeah, if you got any links, if you got any links, chuck those in the chat, and we'll have a gaze and see what's going on. Okay, so DNA India. This is the only source so far from mainstream news that's been reporting on the paratroopers. Scary visuals caught on cam, and here's the video. So we've got one news source that I can see, at least kind of in English language, that's posting this at the moment. Um, that thread on 4chan is logged as coming. Where's the timestamp, bro? So 8:22 this morning. So that was roughly 3 hours ago. That's 8:22 my time. So that's roughly 3 hours ago, and still nothing in mainstream news yet. But we'll see how long it takes to for this to pop up. Maybe we'll check back at the end of this stream and see if it's kind of made its way anywhere else yet. And there's been no context given here. It's just the video. I think there becomes a point with this stuff where the information's coming in so quick, right, that it's almost impossible to actually contextualize what's happening because the flow is like so quick and it's so intense that like you don't actually know. There's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but there's like so much stuff happening that it's kind of difficult to actually provide more info. It's like the contextualization aspect only happens kind of after the fact. So at the moment, it seems that like we're kind of riding this wave of just raw info coming out and trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. Um, okay, let's get. I'm sick of this mainstream stuff already. It's pretty boring and it's behind the times. I guess it provides a bit of context and it gives a bit of a frame for the people who aren't watching the kind of the raw data come out. Russia has embarked upon a path of pure evil, but Ukraine is defending itself. Well, I'd say from what I've seen this morning, that's actually a complete lie. And I don't think Ukraine have defended themselves well at all. In fact, I just came across this other bit of info that would show that whatever resistance was there has been absolutely crushed. Hey, we're gonna have to get up Translate again. So like I said last time, it's complicated doing this on the. It's frustrating because we have no Translate functionality actually in Telegram itself. Um, so we've got. Just going to copy and paste, and we can see what's happening. Sorry, there's a bit of a browser crisis happening. So this is the text coming from here. Abandoned during a retreat, a column of the armed forces of Ukraine after an air-to-air strike was carried out on them. What is this? Hectic, man. Okay, what have we got here in the chat? Have a bit of a look at Twitter and see how Twitter's reacting. Man, oh my God, there's so much happening. So Kiev's broken diplomatic ties with Moscow. That obviously makes sense. Economically, gas up 40% upon me waking up this morning is pretty huge. So let's see what's happening in the financial stuff. I wonder what gold's done this morning. This could be because I'm looking at this through a VPN actually. It could be a bit of a problem here. Was it 30%? I can't remember. Oil prices rise over $100. Global stock markets plunge as Russia invades Ukraine. Okay, let's have a look at this. I wonder what Bitcoin's done this morning. Classic. Okay, so yeah, so oil has risen by 6%, 70 highs. Gas prices jumped to 40%, and this is the kind of info that places like the Guardian and the legacy channels are actually decent for. Um, it might not be the quickest, but sometimes when you're kind of just looking for kind of simple figures like this, and you want economic numbers, and you don't want any context, like you just kind of just want to see the info that's been provided, then this is the place to come. So Russian stocks are down as well, nearly 50% in the last 5 days. So we're reaching like full pandemic levels here in terms of like stock market volatility, at least kind of early pandemic. Um, Back to TweetDeck. Um, Salt of Sea Dog, do you have a link to the second wave of missiles being launched? Maybe I can have a gaze here myself and see what we can find. Another good thing about Twitter that kind of takes the cake in terms of functionality is that as a source, it's easier to find stuff, I find, than places like Telegram, especially if you're looking for raw data stuff. What have we got going on here? Okay, so this is an old video from this morning. Okay, so only Twitter reports, that's all good. Yeah, okay. So no footage seems to be coming out as yet. Oh, this is crazy. The moment Russian missiles hit a position inside a military base. Wow. Okay, we got some more chat. Okay. Oh, this is good stuff. Okay. It's a great question. Why isn't anything happening the other way? Hey, it's yeah, so it's like we're in this war environment on the ground, and we're also in this info war environment online and in the news as well. So it's kind of difficult. It's difficult to verify things, and there's a battle between multiple frames happening here. So you've got um, the Western frame, which, like to paraphrase, kind of is designed to show like the Western frame basically is showing that um, they reckon Putin is like starting World War III. It's like full scale invasion type stuff, um, yada yada, and it's like kind of a selfish move and all the rest. And there's a massive appeal to people's humanity and all that kind of thing. And then you've got the Eastern Euro frame or the Russian frame, which is one of almost like liberation of Ukraine. And I think it's interesting to see how the different media channels kind of analyze this. The comments that Putin put out publicly a few days ago about there being genocide, and then that just being laughed off by kind of the Western pundits is really interesting. Um, the political situation in Ukraine, I think it's far more complex than Western media outlets either maybe they realize, but more that they give it credit for. I think um, I don't really want to get too much of that in today. I'm kind of more interested in just looking at some of this raw info. So we'll head back to TweetDeck, um, and we'll see. There's just so much content coming out here, man. This is just insane. Like, how do you even, how does someone even kind of sift through all this? This is absolutely ridiculous. Uh, so I'm kind of looking mostly here for raw data, like stuff like videos, photos, things that can be verified more than anything, I guess. I'm not really interested in um, contextualization because that will come later. So this is interesting. So this is in the last video I spoke about Flight Radar 24 as a really good source of kind of figuring out um, airplane movements, and I saw this. I saw a fascinating um, photo earlier that came from this Telegram channel called Sig, right? So I think we're probably going to spend the majority of the rest of this stream on Telegram, to be honest with you. There's just too much interesting stuff happening here. So check this out, right? So this is no resistance in North Crimea. Yeah, that makes sense. So as you can see, Ukrainian airspace is being pretty heavily avoided at the moment. Let's have a look at this Twitter link here. What have we got going on? Oh, good stuff. Yeah. Soul of Sea Dog. This is a great share. Thank you. So this is I was having this conversation with some friends a bit earlier, and we were talking about um, like what kind of losses are going to be inflicting the Ukrainian military, and I'd seen some stuff popping up. So this is an awesome share. I'd seen some stuff popping up that was saying that um, the Ukrainian forces were kind of, especially at the border checkpoints, were mostly just letting the Russians kind of come over the border. And I think there's been a Russian doctrine implemented where they've been saying that anyone who, like, if you don't resist us, there'll be like to the extent like there'll be no consequences, right? That's the gist. Okay, we've got another link here. Oh, this is just epic. Yes, okay, this is huge. Okay, so now we've got like multiple verified reports or semi-verified of this happening. Okay, let's watch this vid and see what's going on here. Hectic. Go away. Yeah. That's fascinating stuff. What do the comments say?